it better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-8899-789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
This is the Slate, presented by VIP Play.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
I should explain to you exactly what it is that I do.
This is like the luck of the Irish, only I'm not Irish.
Changing 500. I think I want my money back.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Cash rules everything around me. Green gets the money. Dollar, dollar bill, yo.
Welcome into the Slate presented by VIP Play. Hope you're having a great Friday wherever you may be. John Reed, Max Pennell, Tyler Barbarous.
Yeah, you said it right.
That's right.
Thanks for double checking, though.
Just in time. Well, I've known you a little bit longer than Max. I had to ask Max a couple times because Max is one of those names I've just read, and you kind of create your own pronunciation of things whenever you read them. So I had to ask. But I've been around you, Tyler, to know enough. Do not be alarmed. In honor of 28 years later hitting theaters, a gambling zombie is back. I'm off probation. I'm out of the graveyard. I'm ready to talk some numbers and hopefully get back in the green. Max, happy to be doing a show with you for the first time.
Yeah, happy to be here, John.
Happy Friday. How are you, my friend?
Can't complain. Looks like nice weather for this weekend. And didn't have a winning night last night, but excited we get another basketball game at the very least Sunday night.
Tyler, you good over there?
I'm good, chilling. Happy Friday. Got some nice plans this weekend. Feeling good. Happy to be here.
Some nice plans. Well, good to hear that. Well, let's get right into it. A little bit of a shocker. If you listened to William Pattison last night, he was all over the Thunder taking care of business. But the Pacers had other ideas as the Oklahoma City Thunder's road woes picked back up. They killed me in Game 4 in the fourth quarter by finally deciding to cover a spread. Last night, Game 6, that was more of the Thunder on the road that we've seen so far in the playoffs. As the Pacers force a Game 7 with a commanding second quarter, and then kind of able to coast in the second half on their way to a 108-91 money line cash. And, of course, covering the number at plus 6.5 as well. A well-rounded, balanced attack by the Pacers led by Obi Toppin. See, Max, I feel like I've just been so cursed in this series. I feel like my analysis before the series was pretty good. I said, hey, the Pacers, crazy undervalued here at plus 500. This team is not that far off of what the Thunder are. The Thunder are not this all-time great team like they're being priced at, like the 68 wins would tell you. And I said, hey, the Pacers plus 2.5 games in this series, take it. Hey, it's going, I said 7 or maybe the Pacers even win it. I felt good about it. And then, first game 1, 2, 3, the props were okay, and then all of a sudden they just all dried up. Obi Toppin's really had one bad game in this series. It was after I bet on his over. Alex Caruso was on a tear, scoring 20 points a night. I bet on him. All of a sudden he's back to 2 points and a goose egg. I put the kibosh on Tyrese Halliburton steals. Mind you, last night was back to playing defense, back to getting 2 steals. I just couldn't quite pick the ebbs and flows of this series. But last night, Game 6 looked a lot like I thought Game 4 was going to look like, with the Pacers being the more emotional team, the team at home where role players are playing well, the Thunder looking a little frazzled. That's what we got last night. What did you take of it?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last night. Obviously, the news came out when we were on air about Tyrese Halliburton playing. Kind of felt like it was trending that way all week. between Game 5 and Game 6.
He rope-a-doped them.
Yeah, and he gave an effective outing, 23 minutes. Thankfully for him, they were able to get an early enough lead to save him for more minutes. Speaking of Obi Toppin, I had him over. I think he's a guy that's just been really consistent. Like you said, outside of that one game, his minutes have really increased as well. And TJ McConnell, 24 minutes plus 10. I thought a really important thing as well was Oklahoma City started off 1 of 8 from 3. They ended up 8 of 30, but pretty much all 7 of those threes came in garbage time. Indiana basically packed the paint, forced them to shoot threes, and it resulted in a blowout victory for them. And I think a big thing for both these teams, especially for Indianapolis, is the fact that they were able to get their starters out early. We know Tyrese Halliburton, like I said, dealing with a knee strain, was it?
It was a hamstring, it was a groin, it was a knee. I don't think it was anything. I think it was just, hey, we are making up a reason for why he played so poorly in Game 5 is how it feels like now that I watched him play last night.
But, yeah, we got a series now, and Game 7 will be interesting. I agree with you about the odds, too. This whole series, I was kind of waiting for Vegas to adjust to maybe accepting the fact that Oklahoma City isn't 10 points better than Indiana. And last night, you saw a 6-point spread. The road woes continue, and the Pacers take Game 6, dominating fashion. It'll be interesting to see Game 7 if the line, represents more of Game 6, or if they go back to putting Oklahoma City as a 10, 11-point favorite again, which has really not been profitable if you're taking the Thunder on that side.
The line is already out, of course. VIP Play, shout out to them for sponsoring the show, for partnering with the station. Go download their app. Use the promo code FANRUN, all caps, to get in on the action, to get your welcome bonus, and maybe more importantly for us, to give us credit for leading you that way. Thank you for listening to the Slate. But no, the line's out. It started out, Max, at 8.5.
Sheesh.
And it has since been bet down to 7.5. So the public saying, hey, what we've seen so far in this series is that these two teams are pretty close together. And I think what we saw in Game 6, maybe more importantly if you're trying to handicap this game, is there were some guys for Oklahoma City that said, no, cut those lights off. They're too bright. No, we're not quite ready for the moment. Jalen Williams has shown, hey, he has it in him to go out and score 40 points and be, up with the superstars in NBA history. If you go through the list of NBA final performances where guys have scored at least 40 points, there ain't a whole lot of duds out there. Really, the worst name on the list is Chris Middleton. Everyone else pretty much stamped as star status. But then he follows that up with one of the worst, at least, on-off plus-minus nights in NBA history last night, in NBA Finals history. As in his 27 minutes, he was minus 40. Minus 40. Did not really make an impact on the court. Passing the ball, getting other guys in the mix. He only had 1 assist. Didn't hit any threes. Only 5 free throw attempts. He had so much aggression the previous games where he was putting his head down and getting to the rim. That was not the case in Game 6. And really nobody else on Oklahoma City was there to pick up the slack, which is why you saw them score only 91 points and why you saw them get trounced in Game 6.
Yeah, and Chet Holmgren, you look at his stat line, 4 points, 6 rebounds. They need better than that from him to win, especially against a formidable front court of Siakam and Miles Turner. He was basically a ghost on the court last night. 2 of 9 from the field as well, 0 of 3 from 3. But yeah, that eye-popping minus 40 for Jalen Williams. Alex Caruso, 22 minutes, minus 33 as well, is an eyesore.
I imagine Caruso and Williams were just out there playing the minutes together. They were both just getting absolutely avalanched by the Pacers bench and by, a balanced attack. TJ McConnell, I said it this morning on Talk Sports, 7 to 10 a.m. here on Fan Run Radio. I said, look, I think, Halliburton's improved his stock the most in this playoff run across the league, kind of going from a name that, really only, real basketball fans know and appreciate. Other guys kind of maybe think of him as, hey, the guy in the Olympics that didn't get to play. The guy that was just there as, the human victory cigar, the human mascot. But, of course, in these playoffs, he's been a superstar. In these playoffs, he's been great, big shot after big shot. But in the finals, I said there's been 2 guys that I think have improved their stock more than anybody across the league. TJ McConnell, who, again, last night, 12 points, kind of controlling the flow, especially with that second unit. He's had a really good finals. And then their unheralded superstar, or at least star. I don't want to throw the word superstar around too much, but their unheralded star the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, Pascal Siakam, continues to just be steady. A guy that doesn't really grab too many boards in the regular season, but last night and in these finals, he has been out there rebounding like a madman. I don't know if you saw his video before the game where his eyes are rolling in the back of his head and people are saying he's making a deal with the devil. I don't know, but he's been awesome right now, and he is in line to win Finals MVP if the Pacers are able to shock the world in Game 7. He was really solid again last night, went out and grabbed 13 rebounds to go along with his 16 points. I think McConnell and Siakam have been star role players or star, superstar tier 2 type of guys in Pascal Siakam's case.
I saw a tweet last night, and I'm going to read it out here. It's about TJ McConnell. This guy named NBA University. He's got like 200,000 followers on Twitter. He goes, "It's absolutely insane how unstoppable TJ McConnell is at times. At his very best, it's hard to escape the feeling that he could be Jalen Brunson if he has a team built around his skills and he got the keys handed to him like at 38 minutes a night." And I kind of found that a little bit insane. However, I'm very happy and glad that TJ McConnell is finally getting the respect and recognition that he deserves. I mean, he's arguably been the most impactful player for the Pacers when he plays, a big load of minutes. Last night he played 24 and 12, 9 boards, 6 assists, 4 steals, plus 10, plus minus. Like, this guy's just a winner, man.
I mean, if you go back to Game 5, him not being on the court in the fourth quarter is kind of when the Pacers fell apart. Like, that's kind of what happened. And that tweet by NBA University is just really dumb because TJ McConnell.
I found it funny.
TJ McConnell's a much better defender than Jalen Brunson, and he doesn't have to rely on free throws to get his points. If you gave him 38 minutes and 20 shots, he'd put up the same numbers and play better defense. But, now, Max, when you look ahead to Game 7, again, 7.5-point spread, do you lean a certain way? Because I do buy into the pressure. I do buy into the nerves. Typically, Game 7s, you can always bet the under and feel good about it because teams tighten up. They're worn down. The moment gets to them, and every possession feels do or die. Like every 7-0 run feels like a moment where maybe the season is slipping away. So like the pace just grinds to a halt. To me, at least like in a football perspective, like in the NFL especially, when the over-under's low and you're thinking the under, typically you gravitate towards the team getting points. Do you feel that way looking ahead to Game 7 with the Pacers getting 7.5, or do you see a game where the Thunder seize control, seize the moment, and win their first NBA championship?
It'd be hard for me not to back Indiana, especially at 7.5. They've shown outside of really in the last 4 games, outside of an 8-minute spurt in the fourth quarter of Game 5, that they can hang with this team. They should have won Game 4 in all likelihood. They shot themselves in the foot there, dropped that one. Game 5, they were in it. You mentioned the questionable call by Rick Carlisle to pull TJ McConnell had been their most effective player that night. Game kind of unraveled from there. I also think there is something, it can work for you and against you in a Game 7 when it's on your home court. You're expected to win. Obviously, Oklahoma City's it's been the betting favorite this whole postseason. You jump out to an early lead. Yeah, it's easier to bury Indiana in that situation in Game 7 at home. But if Indiana can come out and have a solid first quarter, solid first half, you mentioned the pressure. That's only going to ratchet up when you're the home team and the fans there, they get quieted, etc. I think Oklahoma City, we saw in Game 6, the moment seemed a little too big for them. There are a lot of young guys as well. You talk about a Siakam, he's been here before. He really, outside of Kawhi Leonard, catapulted that Raptors team to their finals win against Golden State. I think the Pacers' experience, their veteran leadership, the fact that they've hung in every game this series for the most part, I would back them at 7.5.
Something we looked at before the series, this Oklahoma City team is fairly young. They're fairly young when it comes to their important players. Like they got Alex Caruso, and he's got his championship, and he's played, in some big games alongside LeBron James. But it's been a while, until he got back in this moment this year. But Alex Caruso at best is what? The 4th best player for the Thunder, the 5th best player. The main guys in Oklahoma City have never won a championship. And like you said with Pascal Siakam, and I'll even go a step further because I've been saying this guy was more important. Rick Carlisle, he also has a championship. He's also been in these moments and won these games. So there's 2 main guys. When you're drafting people in this series, Pascal Siakam's going top 3. Rick Carlisle's going like top 7, top 8. 2 of those guys on the Pacers side have championships. Oklahoma City, look around, and like I said, maybe your 5th or 6th best player, and Alex Caruso has one. All those other guys, they've never broken through in a moment like this. So that does lend me to think that they have a little bit of an advantage there. And also you combine that the Thunder, heavy favorites, thought of as an all-time great team, which I never quite saw that with them. Like, I get the 68 wins, yeah, but, like, I never quite wanted to put them on the same level as the Warriors with Steph and the Warriors with Durant or Jordan's Bulls or the best Heat teams or you know, any Lakers team that you want to use from the 2000s. The Thunder never quite felt like that to me. So I am happy from a basketball standpoint and really some confirmation bias, Max, to see that the Pacers at least are pushing this team to 7, to where they didn't just cakewalk to the final like a lot of people thought. You know, so many of the experts on ESPN, you know, had the Thunder in 4, Thunder in 5, and it just made me feel like I was taking crazy pills. So at the very least, we're getting a Game 7, which some people, Tyler, say are the best 2 words in sports.
Oh, 1,000%. What's better than a winner go home? I mean, we've seen so many, and they usually always live up to the expectations. I'm super excited about it. Don't really know who to lean here, though, because it seems like every game we have this conversation, and then whichever side I lean, the other team just plays better. These are one of the most unpredictable NBA finals that I think we've had over the past decade and a half. Thunder, we expected them, you know, to have that gentleman's sweep after losing game 1, and Pacers, they just find ways to win games, and that is very respectable, and I think that makes Indiana even more dangerous at plus 215 odds in a Game 7.
There are certain things in sports that I hold dear, Tyler, so don't take this personally. As kind of a gatekeeper and as your OG, as your mentor, like, you know,
mentor,
yeah, like, you know, like a sports media father figure for you. Like, don't take this personally. This is me making sure to help you. But certain things are sacred to me, and the term gentleman's sweep is one of those. So, a gentleman's sweep. I know your generation's trying to change it and hijack it to mean any series that is 1 in 5 games, but that's not the case. A gentleman's sweep is a team wins the first 3 games, lets them win the 4th game, and then goes home and wins Game 5. That's a gentleman's sweep. You
lets
can't
them win the what game? The first game? And
no. The 4th game. They're 3-0. You get usually the home team. They're down 3-0. They get to win one. They get to be happy. Think back to the Knicks like 10 years ago against the Heat. They dropped confetti and celebrate their one playoff win against them as if they had won a championship. And then you go back to the other people's home and they beat you, and the owner gets to make another home check, and everybody's happy. We can't let gentleman's sweep be interchangeable with a 5-game series. Just it's something I have to protect.
I agree.
Cool. Thank you, mentor John Reed. I appreciate it.
I will note,
Daddy, whatever you want to. Whatever.
No,
I'm
not going to go that far.
I will note the Oklahoma City Denver series went 7 games. Game 7 was at home at the Paycom Center. Not comparing Denver to being on Indiana's level, but same series played out the same way. Denver stole Game 1 at Oklahoma City by 2 points. Lose Game 2, win Game 3 at home, lose Game 4. Lose Game 5. They come home for Game 6. Oklahoma City has a chance to clinch the series on the road. They don't. Then they blow out Denver in the least competitive game of that series, 125-93. Not saying that's the way Indiana's going to go, but Oklahoma City has at least been here before, seen the same exact scenario play out, and they responded and rose to the occasion in Game 7 in that series.
We'll look a little bit more at the trends for Game 7. We'll look at the College World Series. We got Tyler's ticket. We're going to max your winnings. We got a lot to get to over the next 35, 45 minutes. Stick with us. It's the Slate presented by VIP Play.
Hey, Pack Rat. Yeah, you. Are you moving cross-country and you just don't know who to call? Call us right now. Listen, you've probably seen one of our containers in your neighborhood. But did you know that we can help you move anywhere in the United States? It's real simple. We'll drop a container off at the location you tell us to bring it to. You pack up your valuable possessions at your leisure. They stay safe right in your home. And when you're ready, call us. We'll come and pick up the container and give you a scheduled date of when your furniture furniture and the other possessions will be at your new home. So if you're moving across country or across town, be a pack rat. Join the Pack Rat family. Call Pack Rat right now for your free quote. See y'all later, Pack Rats.
Call 800-965-1298. 800-965-1298. 800-965-1298. That's 800-965-1298.
Are you ready to show off that confident, radiant smile you've always dreamed of? Well, here at Knoxville Smiles, we're ready to turn your dream into a reality. At Knoxville Smiles, we're more than just a dental practice. We're your partners in achieving optimum oral health. From routine cleanings and checkups to advanced cosmetics and restorative procedures, we offer a wide range of services in an environment that makes every visit a positive and comfortable experience. At Knoxville Smiles, it's about more than just treatments. We're focused on creating a welcoming environment where you feel like family. Our state-of-the-art facilities are designed with your comfort in mind, and our friendly staff is always ready to address your questions and concerns. Don't wait any longer to achieve a beautiful smile you deserve. Schedule your appointment at Knoxville Smiles today and take that first step towards a healthier, happier you. Call us at 865-539-1776 to book your appointment today, or just visit our website at knoxvillesmiles.com.
A brand built in Tennessee and born from the love of the game, Inward Half revolutionizes golfing comfort. Crafted by a former pro and dedicated enthusiast just like you, our luxury performance wear guarantees you stay cool and comfortable through every swing and every day. We're not just a brand. We've set out to create a lifestyle for those who understand that impeccable style and premium performance are a hole-in-one. Enjoy the walk-in with Inward Half.
105.7 FM, 1340 AM. Online at fanrunradio.com and streaming on the free Fan Run Radio app. This is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Is this like you bringing me back to life, the crossroads? This is like the gambling graveyard music. Is this to signal me getting out of it, out of jail?
I don't know. It was just up there.
Okay.
I don't think I've played it this week, so I
Fair
figured
enough.
I'd play it today on this Friday.
If it works, because I'm out of jail, I'm out of the graveyard. We're good. We're going to make some money tonight, or at least have fun talking about it. Max, where do you want to go next? You want to do Game 7, or do you want to do some College World Series and switch it up? I'll let you pick.
Let's do some College World Series and circle back on the NBA Finals.
Let's do that. We'll do some more NBA coverage later in this segment and for our best bets. But Game 1 of the College World Series Championship Series coming up. When's first pitch? Is it 7? Is it 8? When's first? Tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow, Saturday through Monday. I forgot I was in Omaha last year for that. LSU currently favored. Coastal Carolina, kind of Tennessee fans' only hopes in terms of stopping an SEC championship. I think Tennessee fans got to avoid doomsday scenario with Arkansas winning. But personally, I don't really want to see LSU get another one either, because that would be 2 in 3 years, which would kind of stamp them back at the top of the SEC. But right now on VIP play, they are minus 186 to win and hoist that championship trophy. You can get the Chanticleers at plus 150. Max, which way are you leaning here?
So we were talking during the break. I have a Coastal Carolina. At the start of Omaha, I took them plus 650 to win the College World Series.
Great job by you.
They've gotten here. We were talking about hedge opportunities. I think I want to see Game 1 play out beforehand. I will say, though, and I was saying this yesterday, you know, Coastal Carolina, and William has drawn the same comparison. To me, they're like the Gonzaga of college baseball. We view them, because they play in a smaller conference, as a mid-major, but they have talent that stacks up with the high-major programs. We saw them go to Auburn and sweep Auburn in a super regional, and did so very convincingly. This is a team that has not lost a game yet in this tournament. The only team left, obviously, that has done that. And the thing for me that gives them a puncher's chance in this series, their front two pitchers, their Friday and Saturday guys, are just as good as anyone's in the country. I know Anderson and Ianson are really good for LSU. They're probably two of the 5 or 6 best starting pitchers in college baseball. But Fluky for Coastal Carolina, who will be taking the ball tomorrow as a sophomore, has been just as good. 3.24 ERA, 15 starts. He's a guy that would pitch for LSU. So I don't think there's a pitching disadvantage here for Coastal Carolina. And we know in Omaha, with the size of the park and how much more defensive and low-scoring the games get there, the pitching is really important. And I think Coastal Carolina has just as good a chance. The under reflects that pitching matchup at 8.5. Right now, I'm leaning Coastal Carolina. I think they are just as good. They've won 26 in a row, too. And it feels like people still aren't giving them a chance. I think they have just as good a chance. And they have a certain brand of baseball they play, which I think is important. They know what they want to do. They have an identity. And I don't think LSU is going to get in the way of that. As long as Coastal Carolina can get some guys on base against Anderson and really put some pressure on LSU's defense, which we've seen have some issues.
The only thing I would push back on is the Gonzaga comparison, and only because, unlike Gonzaga, because it is a storyline every time Gonzaga makes a deep run, is like, hey, Mark Few never made a Final Four. Of course, he then makes a Final Four, but then it's like, hey, Mark Few never won a national championship. Are you really going to be the team that unseats 30 years of history? Are you going to be the ones that finally break through and do it? And I do think that weighs into some of the Gonzaga pressure. Coastal Carolina doesn't have that. They have the championship from 10 years ago in 2016. These guys don't have the whole program's history and future and validation on their shoulders, which, I do think, again, kind of weighs Gonzaga down from time to time. You're right about Coastal's pitching, but, man, you can't help but notice that the top 2 LSU guys in Anderson and Ianson, I know wins and losses for pitchers, kind of an antiquated stat. You look more so at ERA and WHIP and there's even more metrics that have kind of passed me by, but you can't help but notice that just in the win-loss record, 22-3 for those top 2 guys for LSU. And again, I know wins and losses aren't everything, and Coastal's guys are 19-1 themselves, so it's not like they've been beaten very often. But of course, there's where you kind of compare the Sun Belt to the SEC, and I would rather be 22-3 in the SEC than 19-1 in Coastal. But when you add that win streak in of 26 games, Coastal ain't felt a loss in a really long time. They should have ultimate confidence here coming into this series. It feels like it's going to be a really good one.
I agree. And I will say, 2020, we didn't get a College World Series, so I'm throwing that out.
Garrett Crochet was robbed. He would have won a championship.
It's a shame. And I feel like Tennessee fans don't appreciate Garrett Crochet as one of our own as much as they should because of that season. But 2008, Fresno State, a mid-major, wins it. 2016, Coastal Carolina, a mid-major, wins it. 8 College World Series later, Coastal Carolina in it. Will they make it? Keep the 8-year streak going for a mid-major winning the College World Series. I know you mentioned Ianson and Anderson, and I will give them all their flowers. I will note Ianson, West Virginia in the Super Regional, 5 innings, 4 earned runs. Against UCLA, 3 innings, 3 earned runs. So his last 8 innings of postseason pitching, 7 earned runs. He can get got. Now, he'll be the Game 2 guy. So Coastal Carolina I might be willing to say they have an even or advantage in Game 2 with the way Ianson has pitched on the mound the last 2 games. The thing that worries me, and if you're an LSU fan, is the defense to me has not been good enough. And they don't have base stealers as well. Coastal Carolina will steal bags on you. They'll bunt the guy over. They'll make sure to make contact, get a sac fly. And in low-scoring baseball games, that's the difference. We've seen it hurt Tennessee this year with the lack of reliability on defense. LSU, Jared Jones does what he did against Arkansas in this series. I think it could lose them a game because I don't think Coastal Carolina is going to forget to turn 2 or drop a fly ball in left field to win the game.
Yeah, I do wonder how we would view this series differently. If it was Arkansas, because we were, I think, 3 outs the other night away from Arkansas being here, because I think they would have won the game, the deciding, winner-take-all game. I do think Arkansas would be even heavier favorites than LSU are, and I do think Arkansas probably breaks through and wins because I think their lineup just much more explosive, and the arms had really heated up for them. But also wonder what we think differently just if LSU had lost that game against Arkansas and squeaked out a Game 3, because they get credit for blowing through and not losing on that side of the bracket, but they were outplayed, by Arkansas for most of that game until, all of a sudden they just decide to fall down and let the ball hit off their shoulder.
Decided to be Arkansas.
And bounce away. And, even the game against LSU was a little hectic, a little herky-jerky with the start and stop with the rain, just kind of that early 11 a.m. start, 10 a.m. local starts, for the UCLA elimination game just never felt right. So, like, this LSU team feels like it should be closer to even money versus being, minus 186. I think you got LSU's name brands and, by proxy, the SEC name brand attached to it, where people are seeing the mid-major team like Coastal Carolina and thinking LSU just have some big talent advantage, which I'm not sure if that's actually true. Tyler, do you have a take here on Coastal Carolina, LSU, College World Series, the Omaha final?
Yeah. I think baseball is one of those sports where if you get hot at the right time, you're the most dangerous. And we see that almost every year in the MLB, not comparing the MLB to college baseball, but baseball as a whole, it's one of those sports where you pick up steam, you get hot, and you just continue finding success. And I think Coastal is the epitome of that. I mean, they're so good on both sides. Pitching, they can hit. Like Max said, they have a lot of really, really good guys in the field. They steal bags. Value-wise here, I do really, really like Coastal because I think LSU is one of those teams that you know what you're going to get, but Coastal, I feel like, can give you more. They can exceed expectations, and they have been doing that all season long. They're now in the College World Series. I think Coastal is honestly the team to beat with now, a 26, 27-game winning streak. I think it's going to be really hard to knock them off their horse. And, I'm looking at Coastal here at, plus 120 odds for game one, and I'm very enticed to take it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this series, if Coastal's going to win it, it's going to be by stealing bases, pitching, playing defense. LSU on the season, 51 stolen bases. Coastal Carolina, 108. They run more than double the amount of times LSU does. And I said it earlier, in a low-scoring game, taking that extra 90 feet, getting a guy from second to third, then all you need is a ground ball or a fly ball to score him, I think makes a huge difference, especially when you consider the pitching matchups in this. Jacob Morrison, we're talking win-loss record. Jacob Morrison for Coastal Carolina, who will go in Game 2, 12-0 on the year.
Yeah.
12-0 with a 2.08 ERA. He went into Auburn in the Super Regional, 6 innings, a 1-run ball. Then in Omaha, 7 2/3, 7 strikeouts, 1 run against Oregon State. That guy, I'm taking him, and I'm putting my money behind him against Ianson, as crazy as that might sound preseason.
The one thing that I have noticed here when comparing these two teams is the pop. And obviously LSU, you're going to have more of these, higher recruits that can just hit the ball absurdly far and just slug the baseball. LSU 110 home runs this season compared to Coastal 66. And
that should be neutered a little bit in Omaha.
I agree.
It should be neutered a little bit, which I do think the matchup style, like Max is talking, you'd almost rather have the small ball team that can create havoc on the bases.
But I do think that there is a lot of value, especially in World Series matchups where you have pop in the middle of your order, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I don't know if Coastal has that. LSU out of nowhere could just give you a 6 spot in the third inning because they hit 3 bombs, 2 of them have runners on, and then there's another solo one, and then just like that, your starting pitcher gets pulled out. Then you got to go with the bullpen for 6 innings, and then that's like a double loss because you're managing the whole series here, not just managing that one game. If Coastal gets knocked out of a game early and they have to go to their bullpen, it's an even worse scenario for them to be in. So I think there is going to have to be some source of power for Coastal Carolina. Don't know which player that's going to be or if it'll be more of a team effort, but there are definitely going to have to be extra base hits and some big home runs here.
Max, I can't really shake what I've seen from LSU recently compared to Coastal and, even when you get to Omaha. But, LSU, man, they could have easily lost that regional game against Little Rock.
Yep.
They could have easily lost that game. Was it a 5-1 hole they dug themselves in? They could have easily lost that game. They end up winning it 10-6, so you got to give them credit for winning. But that was Little Rock, a 4 seed. That wasn't some great team. And then also just this week, like the juxtaposition of what these two teams did when the season was on the line or the championship series was in grasp, I can't help but notice the difference there too. LSU, I give them credit for fighting through 9 innings and making the comeback. And, yeah, Arkansas made mistakes, but, hey, that's part of baseball. If you keep putting pressure on people and making them make big plays, especially in college baseball, sometimes they'll fold.
Yeah.
And they made Arkansas fold there. But, like I said, the juxtaposition of that compared to Coastal Carolina, who was playing a weaker team in Louisville compared to Arkansas. But what did Coastal Carolina do? They came out first inning, 5 runs, game over. You're going home. Like they jumped on Louisville in their elimination, in their championship series clinching game. They came out and made a statement. To me, that type of stuff matters when I'm trying to project this. This Coastal team is on a mission, and it does feel like this should be closer to even. So I do think there's some value there, like we're talking about with Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, and I think if you were to have two people that didn't watch college baseball at all, don't know the brands, the program's history, if you had them watch from the start of this tournament up to this point, I think they'd ask you why Coastal Carolina is an underdog. Because look at what they've done in Omaha. 8-run win, 4-run win, 3-run win. LSU's been pushed a couple times. We mentioned back in the fact they lost a game to Little Rock. West Virginia gave them some game. They handled business in game 1 of that super regional. But Coastal Carolina, like I said, they have not lost a game yet. They've been the better team throughout this tournament. I think the names, and yes, there's more MLB talent on LSU. LSU's been here before, all that stuff. I think, though, if you had someone just watch these two teams since the tournament started, they'd be asking you why Coastal Carolina is not the favorite in this, and I would agree with them. I mean, they've been so dominant, haven't lost a game this playoffs, and you just look at the teams they've beaten too. Auburn's no slouch. Auburn's was a higher-ranked team in this tournament than LSU was when we started off. Oregon State, that's a good ball club as well. I think they're a team that is better. They're playing inspired baseball. I will be interesting to see if they were to lose game 1 or game 2. They haven't lost a game in like 2 months. How do they respond from that? But we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Odds courtesy of VIP Play for the College World Series. Coastal Carolina plus 150, LSU minus 186. When you look at just game 1, that goes down to LSU minus 167. Coastal goes to plus 128. I will ask you, it sounds like you like Coastal. If that's the case, do you like Coastal game 1, or do you just take Coastal, at the plus 150 at the higher number because you looked ahead to the game 2 matchups and Coastal has a pretty big advantage there in your opinion? Do you just take Coastal to win the series, or do you mess with game 1 at all?
Yeah, I think I'd take them to win the series if I'm confident enough. I think it's hard to say, okay, they're definitely going to win game 1, definitely win game 2. I think you want that cushion of, okay, they could drop a game to Cade Anderson, who right now is the 3rd-ranked draft prospect according to MLB Pipeline. That's no gimme, but they have the pitching advantage in game 2, in my opinion. I think the series is the more logical bet, and then when you get to a game 3, kind of all bets are off, and if you have a series bet, you possibly have a hedge opportunity with LSU if they were to fall down drastically.
Well, especially when you take advantage of the live betting options over at VIP Play. They constantly have updates. You hear of live betting. This is live anytime betting. Check them out. Use the promo code FANRUN. Enter their VIP Players Club sweepstakes. All you got to do is bet. Every bet you make on VIP Play gets you entries into the Players Club sweepstakes. You'll get 1 entry per bet, 1 entry per dollar bet, and 10 times your entries on parlays and same-game parlays. You like Coastal plus 150. Tyler, do you have a lean on the series at all?
Yeah, I like Coastal. They're hot right now. Keep on riding the hot streak.
I'm biased. I want Coastal to win. I do think they're a little bit too high on the price. Plus 150 does seem like some value. It's hard not to like the underdog in this situation whenever they're playing so well. Let's go around. Let's look at the rest of the slate. We spent a lot of time on the College World Series, as we should. A trophy is on the line. But, Tyler, what baseball games are you targeting tonight?
I got a lot. I really, really like the slate tonight, and I want to start it off by saying that tonight is Rafael Devers' first game against his old team, the Boston Red Sox.
That worked out.
Yeah, I know, right? Literally, the week he gets traded, he has to match up against his old team. However, it is not in Fenway, so I don't think he'll get any sort of boos. This game is at 10:05. It is in San Francisco at Oracle. And I'm leaning Giants minus 130 on the money line here. They picked up their first win in the Rafael Devers era yesterday. I do like the pitching matchup for San Francisco against Hunter Dobbins, who has been just a little bit below average this year. The way that the Giants have been swinging the bat recently, the way that the Giants starting pitching has been recently, I really like for them to attack this young Rafael Devers-less Red Sox lineup. I think you're going to see a lower scoring game here with the upside that the Giants can completely just explode and put up, 8 runs or 10 runs in this game. I like Giants at minus 130 a lot here.
Rafael Devers, if you are looking for a little revenge factor, if you want to ride him, his props right now, Tyler, set over 1.5 bases at plus 123 if you want the over. Under minus 175. Do you think he's got at least 2 singles, maybe a double, maybe a home run in him tonight?
You want to know what's funny? I was just going to get to that until you interrupted me.
I didn't interrupt you. I raised my hand, and I waited for a pause, and I set you up as a host is supposed to do.
Thank you, sir.
Sometimes in radio, as your radio daddy, sometimes you need somebody to help lead you there. It's a little back and
alley-oop.
forth. I was trying to throw you an alley-oop. It's called give and take. When you get some chemistry with people, that's how it works. I wasn't interrupting you. I was helping set you up.
Well, I'm going to slam down the alley-oop here. I do like Devers 2+ total bases at plus 105. He has been getting a lot of hard contact in his first couple games as a San Francisco Giant. I think and he's been pulling a lot of his hits, and when he makes contact, he's hitting it to the right side of the ballpark. I think if he gets a baseball down there in Triples Alley, you got to stand up double just like that. And I think against a right-handed pitcher, that's where Rafael Devers exceeds. So I do like Devers here. 2+ total bases at plus 105.
Plus 123.
Plus 123. Never
on
mind.
VIP
even
play.
better.
A much better line than wherever the hell you're looking. Plus 123 over on VIP play. You were so close. You were so close to having some Dwight Howard in you and slamming down that alley-oop, but you blew it on the pricing.
Oh, well, what are we going to do? Well, I got 3 other more picks here on that MLB slate. Like I said, I really like a lot of the plays today, and I'll get through them quickly. I like Braves minus 1.5 at plus 105. They face the Miami Marlins, who we all know aren't a good team. And the Braves, they are very, very hot. Winners of 6 of their last 7, coming off the series sweep versus the Mets in dominant fashion, where all the games that they won in that series were not sweaty at all. They controlled all 9 innings. Pitching has been great recently for them. Their bats have really started to pick up, and Ronald Acuna Jr. helps a lot with that. An interesting stat here too: the Marlins are 2-10 in their last 12 Friday home games. It's a very interesting trend, but I'm going to continue riding that. I like Braves minus 1.5 at plus 105.
Plus 112 on VIP play.
Plus 112 at plus VIP play. All right, and so
VIP play has much better numbers. You're doing yourself a disservice by not using them. They got much better numbers on both of those things you want to bet.
Venga,
the next 2 picks. Let's go. Max has got to max out his winnings. Come on, let's go.
All right, well, tell me what the odds are on VIP play on this play. It is the Tigers raise Nerfy. We have a Nerfy. I know a lot of people like the Nerfies. They got Shane Baz on the mound for the Rays, and the Tigers have Jack Flaherty. These 2 pitchers combined have a 26-2 Nerfy record this season. Unbelievable stuff. They're both 13-1 on their Nerfies this season. Jack Flaherty is riding a 6-game Nerfy streak, and Shane Baz is on a 10-game Nerfy streak. Flaherty is 6-0 on the road in Nerfies, and Baz has a 7-1 record at home in Nerfies this season.
Minus 130 on the under.
Boom, perfect. That is one of my favorite plays of the slate. And then to wrap it all up, someone that Max and I are both very, very high on is Hunter Brown. I like his over 6.5 strikeouts at minus 140. I was going to look at his over on outs here, but but those odds were really, really rough. They were near the minus 200, so I'm going with the strikeouts instead, but I do think it's even better value. It's a great matchup here for Brown, as he's been one of the best pitchers in all of baseball this season. He has gone over the 6.5 strikeout line in 8 out of his last 10 games this season, and he is coming off a season high of 12 strikeouts versus the Minnesota Twins in his last start. The Angels also have the highest strikeout rate versus right-handed pitchers this season. Really, really like this play and the value here for Brown.
Send us a break. We'll come back. We'll max out our winnings. I'll see if I can get off of the losing streak I've been on. It's the Slate presented by VIP Play. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. You must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet. Again, keep in mind, use the promo code FANRUN, all caps, when you play on VIP Play. You saw they had some better numbers. They got some pretty good baseball odds if you want to get on there and play. It's the Slate presented by VIP Play. We'll wrap this up on the other side.
Airlines have just reduced their prices even more. Book 30 days in advance and save big.
Want the absolute lowest prices on your airline tickets? Then call the Low Cost Airlines Travel Hotline right now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. The only way to access our low rates and save up to 70% is to call. Save hundreds on your vacation tickets by calling right now. You can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-631-1754. 800-631-1754. 800-631-1754. That's 800-631-1754.
Yeehaw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
Yeah, buddy, roll it like a big shot. Escalade, tuned up, NASCAR pit stop. Diamonds in my mouth. I don't even need a wristwatch saying that you got it. You can fuck around and get got. I'm stretching, lean out like a ballerina.
Back in the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios to wrap this up. Shout out to White Claw. It's Friday night. Enjoy yourself a White Claw responsibly. Toast to the weekend. Let's max out some of our winnings. Max, what you got for us?
Yeah, 1-2 night last night. Got to get back in the green, John, for the weekend. Got to pay the bills somehow, right?
Well, we're gambling responsibly here. Hopefully you're not betting with bill money. This is just
fun money.
This is just for fun. Hopefully Max isn't going to be like, without a cell phone for a couple weeks and everyone's like, hey, Max needs to get his phone cut back on. Hopefully we're not at that point, but let's get back in the green nonetheless.
Starting off, first game of the slate for me, Rays money line, -115.
Cha-ching.
At home in Tampa, tiny ballpark. It's actually kind of hilarious that they're playing Major League games there. But nonetheless, Jack Flaherty, 0-2 with a 7 ERA lifetime versus the Rays. Tigers, this factored in a little bit. Long flight last night from Detroit all the way down to the great state of Florida. They had a doubleheader they played yesterday that ended around 11 p.m. Got to think there might be a little bit of tired legs there for Detroit. And then Shane Baz, you mentioned how good he's been at home. 2-0 with a 3.18 ERA in the month of June. Really had a really good year outside of 2 blow-up starts that have kind of dragged his ERA higher than it really should be. Taking the Rays, who are probably one of the sneaky better teams in baseball this year, at -115. Astros, -1.5. That is plus, let's see what we got on VIP Play. If they got, that is -100 Hunter Brown, you mentioned. He's probably the best starting pitcher the casual fan has never heard of. 8-3 with a 1.88 ERA this year. Best ERA in the American League.
Sheesh.
Career ERA in the threes versus the Angels. And the Astros, this is really why I'm backing them here in addition to Brown. Left-handed pitcher Yusei Kikuchi going for the Angels. Astros do not have a left-handed hitter on their team. So they struggle a little bit against right-handed pitching. But against lefties, an OPS north of 820. Tire's starting lineup will be right-handed. I expect them to mash. And then you get into the bullpens here. It's night and day. Astros 3.23 team bullpen ERA, good for top 5 in baseball. The Angels 5.39. That's bottom 4 in the major league. So really everything aligns here for Astros to win comfortably. And then finally, Tyler's Orioles in Yankee Stadium, plus 1.5 at plus 127 on VIP play. Sugano going for the Orioles, his one start this season against the Yankees, 5 shutout innings with a season-high 8 strikeouts. So if you also want to throw in Sugano over 3.5 strikeouts, I don't hate that as well. Yankees been slumping 1-6 in their last 7, have really struggled to hit the ball the last week. The Orioles been playing better baseball, 13-7 in their last 20. Sugano, proven track record against this Yankees lineup. They had their fits with him back in April. I think that continues. The Orioles' better upswing on the upswing continues in this one, plus 1.5 at plus 127, and throw in Sugano over 3.5 strikeouts if you really want to juice the odds a little bit.
And that money line, too, could be pretty enticing to take as well.
Give us a couple of Oriole names, Tyler. A couple of left-handers that should be able to kind of take advantage of that short porch in right field.
Yeah, I mean, you got Jackson Holliday, who's been one of the better second basemen in all of baseball this season. Colton Cowser has a home run every day in his last 3. The power's there for Cowser. I think he could really take 1 yard there. And then they also have a lot of right-handed bats who can push it the other way. Jordan Westberg, he can hit it all around the field. Gunnar Henderson is not playing today. He is on a rest day, but he always would have said.
A rest day?
Yeah, everyone needs a rest day.
I don't think I'd take a rest day in Yankee Stadium if I'm him. I feel like I'm trying to get up there and launch some balls.
Yeah, I would want it too, but sadly I don't think it was his decision. But yeah, Jake, I do agree with you. The O's have been playing a lot better baseball recently, and if you want to get freaky.
Who the hell is Jake?
Oh, Jake, excuse me. Max. Someone on my phone just texted me, and his name was Jake, so I think that's why. But if you want to get freaky, Orioles at plus 275 on the money line.
Max, do you want to get freaky?
I'm going to pass. It is Friday, but I'm going to pass.
Yeah, Freaky Friday.
I told you I had a little Dwight Howard in him. He was in here wanting to get freaky. I told you. Looking for me on Friday nights, I like to dabble with the women. A little WNBA action.
Just dabble.
Just a little dabble.
Just a little salt and pepper.
Yeah, just a little salt and pepper. A little wet the beak action. The Dream 9.5-point favorites against the Mystics. That they just absolutely kicked their ass just earlier, I guess last week, beat them by 40 points. I like a play tonight. You could take the 9.5 if you want, but I'm interested in just kind of throwing a little 2-team parlay together at plus 101. This will be my action for the night. I'll take the Dream at minus 560. Big favorite, but I comfortably feel like they're going to win in Atlanta. Carl Smesko, who I gave out on the show, by the way, at 20-1 to be Coach of the Year. He's down to, I think, 4-1 on VIP play. We could have got in early there. I kind of need Phoenix to start losing because that coach has got those ladies balling. But take the Atlanta Dream Max minus 560. Parlay it with the Seattle Storm going on the road to Las Vegas. Asia Wilson, questionable to return tonight from her concussion. She's been out the last 9 days. But even when she has played, she hasn't been very good. She seems like she might be on the way out of Las Vegas. She's kind of involved in some trade rumors. They're asking what's wrong with Becky Hammon and the girls. The Aces are 5-6 on the season. They have lost 2 of their last games. They're 1-1 against Seattle so far this year. They lost by 20 in Seattle, and then turn around and won by 5. This will be the first one in Vegas. I like the Storm. They've been playing better. Give me the Storm tonight.
Go WNBA.
Go WNBA. Dabble with the women. Real quick, Max, we didn't really have a lot of time for Game 7. You like the Pacers. Any props that stand out to you?
I'm going to keep riding Obi Toppin overs till they miss.
Ain't no stopping Obi Toppin except for me when I bet on him that one time.
COVID stopped him, too.
COVID did stop him, too. That was tough for Dayton. Max, good job by you. No other props there. Anything else you want to get on wax?
I don't think so.
Okay, good. Tyler, anything in Game 7 that you want to get on record? I'm leaning towards Pacers and the points, and give me the under. What are you looking at?
Honestly, it is Friday. I'm a little freaky. I think I want to take Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 40-plus points.
Wow.
I think at home we know what the Thunder can do in a Game 7 at home, like what they did against Denver. I think Shai is the best player on the court, and he has been all series. I think you're going to see why he was the MVP in Game 7. Give me Shai to drop 40 and Thunder money line parlay.
The Pacers in position to do what 3 teams ahead of them have done. Now, granted, 2 of those teams were at home, but the last 3 teams that have staved off elimination in the NBA Finals at 3-2 to force a Game 7, 3 in a row have they turned around and won Game 7. That would be the 2016 Cavs. That would be the Heat of 2013, I believe, would be the year, and the 2010 Los Angeles Lakers. Now, again, Lakers were at home back when it was a 2-3-2 format. They forced a Game 7 and won it, as did the Heat. But LeBron James took down the Warriors after forcing a Game 7. So at least the Pacers have seen that it can be done. Good job by you guys. Hope you have a great weekend. Safe betting out there. Let's hope we all get in the green. You guys have a good weekend. Talk to you Monday.
Of what the outcome